There are some motorbikes in the world, the beauty of which is absolutely dividing the people. Some of us love them, some of us hate it and keep it ugly. The Kawasaki ZH2 is just a bike like this, but there is a much more important than its beauty. How is it going? We burned a lot of gasoline to tell it to you. So all of us know that this is a 200 brake horsepower motorbike and it's a killer and very aggressive and things like this. Approximately a year ago, both of us were riding with the H2 SX, let's say the sport touring version of this bike, with the same engine, also 200 brake horsepower and everything. And what I remember is that was not that aggressive bike, but as I was waiting for it. How is this bike working?
From 4,000 RPM, the bike is always wants to going up and up and up.
So lifting the front wheel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. The SX didn't do it?
No, because the weight over, on that bike is always in the front.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is always...
So the weight distribution is different?
Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. And the ergonometry too.
So all in all, this is a more aggressive bike. So we can say that the SX version is, let's say, for touring, sport touring, things like this, and this is for being a bad guy on the street.
Yeah, definitely.
When you are accelerating out from a curve, for example, does it want to kill you, or so how is it controllable? This 200 brake horsepower. Well, does it come too sudden or?
No, it's not a serial killer. You can change the gas and the quick shifter.
Mm-hmm.
You always pump it up, and that's fair enough.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it doesn't want to always lift its front wheel anytime, or how is it happening? So how?
Well, if the RPM is too high and you push too much gas, it's always on the air, the front.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it's lifting up, not as the SX. And is it easily controllable?
Not really, just for professional bikers.
Mm-hmm. So for a beginner, you wouldn't advise this bike? No, not at all.
No.
The SX more?
More, absolutely. Yeah. That's more comfortable and controllable than like this.
Mm-hmm. The 1-liter supercharged engine has 137 Nm torque, which is not, let's say, catalog top data, because there are some bikes even in the present field which have more torque.
Yeah.
But Kawasaki's engineers are saying that this 1-liter supercharged engine was built on a way like this to make the torque let's say gap as wide as possible. How is it working in the real life?
Well, it's from 4,000 to 11. It's absolutely on the top.
So feeling like an electric engine or something like this.
Yeah.
But the noise, not noise, sorry, the sound of it is.
You can hear it.
So what kind of sound can you hear when you are riding it?
Only the exhaust and
the supercharger. So the supercharger is whistling on the same way as
when you drop on the zero the gas. Then.
And this bike has an Akrapovic exhaust. Yeah. How did you hear it?
I love it.
Especially when you are sitting in the bike, because from the outside I heard it when we were making the outside pictures of the bike. But when you are sitting on it, then what can you hear from the exhaust?
You have to try it because you will love it.
How did you feel the suspension? Because we have Showa in the front and in the rear as well, and nearly all the parameters can be changed. But in Hungary we do not have two good roads, and this is a very, very strong motorbike. So the suspension has a lot of work. How did you feel it? How was it working?
First time when we got the bike, the front and the rear was too soft. Always soft, always lifting and pumping.
So it was comfortable on the bad quality roads?
On the bad quality roads, maybe, yeah. But
and
for this horsepower, it's not enough.
so you couldn't use the power of the bike with that suspension setup?
We have to change it. Yeah.
And did you change it?
Yeah, of course.
So
We worked a lot about the changes. The front is nearly okay, but the rear is still bumpy.
Yes, when we were making the video cutting pictures with you, and then you were making some curves on really bumpy roads, and it was even from the outside possible to see how it was moving, and even moving outside from the curve. And so all in all, is it enough for this power?
The front, maybe, yeah, but the rear, I say you have to change it.
How did you like the brake system? Because in the front we have 4-piston Brembo, radial calipers, everything, so we can say that this is a top thing.
Like a race bike.
Yes, and how did you feel it?
Absolutely fair enough for this bike and for this horsepower too.
So even when you are riding, let's say in
race mode?
In a race mode or in the mad category, the bad guy category, even that time it was absolutely enough?
Absolutely.
The dosability, so how can you give the brake power?
I love that.
I know that from your pictures on the Facebook, I saw that you were changing with a friend of you with the Panigale 1199.
Yeah.
And you said something about the difference between the brakes, but what was that?
The Nissan master brake cylinder was more effective.
So you felt the whole brake system of the ZH2 better than the Panigales?
Maybe. Maybe, because it's newer one. No.
The dashboard is absolutely changed related to the H2 SX version, the Sport Touring version, because it's a full digital unit. And of course we have different user modes. We have the road mode, we have the rain mode, we have the sport mode. Of course Dodo is using the bike in sport mode mainly, and we have a rider mode which we can set up for our needs, and the RPM can be read very well from this white line, so it's very clearly seeable when you are riding. It's clear for all of us, I think, that the consumption of a 200 brake horsepower motorbike is not the most important part of it.
No.
But what kind of data did you, because you were really riding a lot with this bike, now I think you were riding slower and faster, I know.
Yeah.
So what kind of consumptions did you realize?
When you riding 80 kilometers an hour,
which has no sense
in
with it at
a
all.
long distance.
In 6 speed.
Yeah, in 6 speed, and using the
cruise control.
Yeah.
Yes. So
it's only 4.5 liters.
4.5 liters.
4.5
is enough for this engine.
But when you pull the gas like a bad guy,
so you start to use the bike, the abilities of the bike.
Yeah. Then 10 and 13 liters.
So between 10, 13, and which was but this highway.
But the average is 8 and 9.
8-9 is enough when you are using the brake horsepower and the torque of the bike and enjoying it.
In long distance, in serpentines, in highway, so the average is nearly this.
Between 8 and 10, we can say. That's the typical average. How did you like the seat position of the bike?
Well, it's not a really race bike. Comfortable, but not enough for long roads.
Can you keep your body weight enough with your legs?
Absolutely. But my upper leg segment is hitting
the frame or what?
The frame, yeah.
And what does it mean? Not comfortable?
Not comfortable. No.
And the rear seat, does it keep you enough when you are using the maximum acceleration?
Yeah.
So that is good?
That's fair enough. But my ass, after this long road.
Already tired?
Yeah.
Your back part?
Yeah.
Because of this?
It hurts.
And what about the wind protection? Because it has no wind protection, of course. It is a naked bike, and on naked bikes,
That's really small, yeah.
on naked bikes we can say that you are struggling, let's say over 150. Is it true in this case or not?
It's nearly true, but I said 180 kilometers. That's
But
enough.
then you are already lying on the fuel tank.
Yeah.
But then up to 180, it's
Then
well,
your
say-
head wants to go backward
And what was the top speed you were riding with it?
to 275 kilometers an hour.
And how is it working at 275? So the engine is really easily reaching that
Absolutely.
speed?
It's in
Not-
full RPM, you can use it.
So not, let's say, struggling. The acceleration is close to linear.
Never.
So the acceleration is really close to linear in the high speed, so over 250.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's amazing.
But then you are fighting with the elements, and you can.
With the wind.
Yeah. So you can enjoy this speed only for a very short period. Maybe that's why the whole gear ratio is on a way that
It's very close, but you can pump it.
you were riding, I think, close to 2,000 kilometers or even a bit more after. So you know this bike really well. Who could you offer it to?
Who needs 200 PS?
So guys who really want much brake horsepower and who can really use it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. For not for beginners. Not
So
for
so
beginners.
knowledge, good motorbike riding knowledge is necessary for this bike.
Absolutely. Who can accept this ugly
Looking.
face, this looking? But the exhaust is very well.
So luckily we can say that beauty is a relative thing. So maybe there are some people in the world who fall in love with this looking.
But only in green.
So you didn't like the looking of
No,
it, and how did
not
you
really.
like? How did you like? How is it working as a motorbike?
Very well. But the rear suspension absolutely changed.
So
Have
you
to
would
change
you
it.
would change it.
You have to change it.
Otherwise, you would be able to, let's say, live together with it, or because of the looking.
Yeah,
not-
because it's very cheap.
So in this brake horsepower category, we can say that this is a cheap motorbike,
Yeah, absolutely.
and even a very unique one because of the supercharged engine.
And the Italians cost twice more.
Mhm.
This was close for the Italians.
So the knowledge is close, pretty close, or
But the
more
price
or
is
less
much
close,
lower.
but the price is much lower. So you all in all you like this bike, we can say.
Yeah,
Not the looking,
not the looking,
but
not
the
looking,
but
just
the riding of it.
but the riding.
Okay, if you like this video, then please push a thumb up on it. In the description under the film, you can find the link where you can donate our work. And if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe for our channel and watch our previous contents as well. And thanks a lot for your kind attention.